Good early evening, everybody. It's 5:30, and with that, we'll go ahead and please call me on the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll stay standing, and Ms. Maria, lead us in invocation, please.
Lord, thank you for the promise of where two or more are gathered, you are there. We welcome you utmost of us today, amongst us today. We ask that you open our ears so that we may hear your voice. Open our minds so that we may receive your eternal wisdom. Open our spirits so that we may know your leading, and open our hearts so that we may receive your eternal love. In Jesus' name we pray this. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Maria. Then, first we'll go ahead and call our workshop to order.
Chairman and Directors, the first item on your workshop is review of the 2025 annual report for submission to the Texas Department of Transportation. So under chapter 370 of the Transportation Code, we're required to submit a report annually to the Texas Department of Transportation, particularly the Transportation Commission, on the activities that we've undertaken for the prior year, or for 2025. Typically, this report is due in November. So we've drafted up that report. A copy of it is in your packet. The first couple of sections are just kind of lays the authority out, how it was created, who the board of directors and the staff are. If you go to section 3.0, which is on page 8, and that's really where the reporting starts. So in section 3.0, we give TxDOT a report on the progress we've made on the roadway, the 365 tollway. In 3.1, we give an update on the toll activities, what we've done for the tolling portion of it, installation of the gantries, fiber optic, the server room, etc. And then in section 3.2, we give some upcoming milestones for the construction, the heavy highway side of it, and the toll operation side of it. So we give some milestones in there, such as when we plan to be done with the construction, which right now we're projecting in October of 2026. And then on the toll operations, we're looking to start on January of 2027. And then in section 4, we talk about the progress we made on the IBTC project, which that project has basically been transferred over to the Texas Department of Transportation. They environmentally cleared it. This year, we spent a good portion of the year coordinating with TxDOT, transferring electronic files, transferring deeds, surveys, the environmental document, any information that we have in our files, so that they can start the final design for that portion of IBTC, which, by the way, IBTC is now on the state highway system. Internally, it was our project. It was International Bridge Trade Corridor. It has now been designated as State Highway 68, the north-south leg of it. The west leg of it has been designated Farm to Market Road 3072, and the east leg of it has been designated Spur 81. So that roadway is now on the state highway system. It's no longer a local roadway for the RMA's roadway. Section 5.0 talks about the I-69 connector. That's a joint project between TxDOT, Cameron County RMA, and Hidalgo County RMA to link up I-69 Central and I-69 East, locally known as US 281 or State Highway or the US 77. That project is really important because that will eventually connect to the second causeway access. It's projected to connect to the second causeway access. And so that's why that project is significant for both RMAs. And then finally, in section 6.0, we give a report on our permit activities. And that's something that we report to, the board of directors on a monthly basis, but we give them a summary for the year and then, historical perspective. And then finally, we close out with, giving them an update on State Highway 68, from Interstate 2 to Interstate 69 Central. That ties into IBTC or 68 3072 for 81, and that ties into 365. And that pretty much summarizes the report and answer any questions you might have.
Questions or comments from anybody on the report?
What activity, what kind of activity do you think we'll see and when on the BTC for?
IBTC right now, they have a engineer of record hired to start the final design of the plan, specification and estimates. They're going to start their right-of-way acquisition process on that. The RMA, the Hidalgo County RMA, actually did some early acquisition on that. So we bought some right-of-way up close to Interstate 2, and we bought some right-of-way close to the interchange with 365 tollway. So we did some early acquisition. We did about $7 or $8 million worth of early acquisition. And then TxDOT will start buying everything in between that's still have to purchase. But you should start to see that activity probably in 2026. I believe the current latest schedule is 2028. Is it for IBTC or State Highway 68? They plan to bid it out in 2028.
Engineer record is behind.
Yes. The engineer of record is Consort, so they haven't been in the audience, but they've got a lot of the work on it.
They're gonna let it out and all in one phase.
I believe so, yes, sir. All three legs will be let out as one project.
Any other comment? Okay, we obviously appreciate the report. We need to submit that to TxDOT. Do we have anything else for workshop?
No, sir.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn the workshop?
Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Workshop adjourned. So we will call to order our regularly scheduled meeting and establish a quorum. We'll be good on a quorum.
Chairman, you have 6 members present and 1 member via video conference. You have a full board and quorum.
Very good. As always, thank you to all the directors. We appreciate your input, and your attendance, and just confirming, Director Rodriguez, you can hear us well? Okay, he's still connected. Okay, he's on. And yes, I also in thanking the directors, I also recognize and want to say Director Mayor Joe, congratulations to Mayor Omar, your son. That must feel terrific, and we appreciate his willingness to serve. And so, just like you're doing here, it's going to be and did there. We appreciate that. So, we have a quorum. Any public comment?
No, sir, we don't have any public comment.
All right, no public comment. Item number 1 is Chairman's report. Item A, the Western Hidalgo County Loop System development. It reads, and this will be on here for some time. As we all know, it's our focus. It's what we're working on. It's what we want to be working on. We have what's on the ground right now and what we hope will be coming in the future. We had before us at the last meeting and the memorandum of understanding and an invite to some of our other communities in the area. And Pilar, I don't know if you have anything particular, specific to report there.
The staff has reached out to the city of McAllen, the city of Palmview, the city of Benitez, and the city of Edinburgh as directed by the board of directors. And we've sent them a copy of the draft MOU. We've explained the intent of it, and we're waiting to hear comments back. As a matter of fact, Ruben was with the city of Palmview yesterday and presented to the commissioners or aldermen, I don't remember, the commissioners in the city of Palmview. And we've talked to City McAllen and the other agencies, and we're just waiting to hear, send them the draft MOU, waiting to hear.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the director's desire and seeking the willingness of all our local communities, as we've been saying, to work together. And I think this MOU go a long ways to doing that. So we're anxious to get that signed and continue our efforts on the progress there. That's really all I have to report on item A. Item B is an appointment of 3 committees. As you probably know, but may not, the bylaws of the RMA give the chairman the ability to at any time designate from among the directors a committee or multiple committees. You can reference the bylaws for that. I recognizing that this month marks my 1 year as RMA chair. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's still here. Thank you. It does go by very quick, and it has been, as I've said multiple times in the past, a bit of drinking out of a fire hose. I do take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone, starting with the staff and of course our legal counsel and all the fellow directors that have helped to try to coach me up and get us to where we are today. But anyway, as chairman, I've decided we're going to have 3 committees. I want to have an administration committee, which I'll head up myself, and I'm asking Director Javier Peña and Director Joe Ochoa to serve on that committee. I also am forming a project status committee. I think this is very necessary and will be helpful. And I've asked Director Roy Rodriguez to head that up. And asking Director Michael Williamson, as well as Director Juan Carlos Delanque, to be on that committee. And lastly, a committee, we've talked about this a bit in the past, certainly Pilar and I have, and then we had some discussion about this with our legal counsel, and we're appreciative of the thoughts and ideas, but a revenue committee or revenue generation committee in terms of putting our heads together. I'm asking Director Michael Williamson to head that up with our Vice Chairman Zeke Reina to be on that committee along with Director Joe Ochoa. And that committee's efforts would be to focus on any and all potentials that we may have for revenue generation. And so I'm excited about the opportunities that committee could bring forward. Any questions about the committees or comments? Thank you very much. I'm the chairman. I'm moving on. Now, in all seriousness, I know there's been committees in the past during the time that I came on board, aside of course from our executive committee, which we all serve on. I have not known of any specific committees. Our staff is out there doing some great work, and this is just a plea and an ask for all of us to lean forward on some really, really important topics. And of course, the project status committee headed up with Director Roy. He's hit the ground running. We've already spoken a bit about that, so I'm excited about the prospects for that committee to come together. Of course, putting a couple engineers and a banker together, that can't be bad. So I'm happy about that. The admin committee, I said that I would assume the responsibility on that, and until further notice, will also assume the responsibility for HR-related matters, including our imminent and important task of working through the executive director transition. So this will be the first time at this meeting where I'll say that today, as chairman of the board, I want to express not only my sincere appreciation, but also the deep gratitude of the entire board for Executive Director Pilar Rodriguez's many years of service to the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority. 13, I think, right, Pilar?
Almost 14.
Almost 14. We discussed that a little bit, and we're sincerely grateful for Pilar's commitment to work collaboratively with me and with the board as we transition to new executive director leadership. And his willingness to support this process reflects his longstanding dedication to the RMA and to the county. I take this opportunity to personally thank Pilar for your steady leadership, Pilar, during a time of extraordinary regional growth. We've all seen what's happening in our communities around us and the significant infrastructure progress that's going on around us. And Pilar, you've served your community with integrity, professionalism, and genuine passion, and that's much appreciated. Your leadership has helped advance key mobility projects, all while you balance not one, but two full-time roles in service to our community. And that's an uncommon reflection of public duty and personal commitment. When Pilar was asked, he answered the call. So Pilar, again, very thankful, grateful for your service and your support as we enter this next chapter here at the RMA. Pilar has already begun to work closely with me and has committed to doing so in the coming days, weeks, and months on the cooperating to ensure a smooth and responsible transition in his position. He's expressed pride in the RMA's accomplishment, and particularly that of his team and the staff and the work that they've done. And he's also confidently told me that he believes very much that the agency has an extremely bright future. And coming from you, Pilar, I value that and know that your finger where it is right now on the pulse. I have no doubt that our future indeed is bright. We look forward to building on this foundation that Pilar has created here and helped to establish. And I too want to thank, as he was quick to point out, the team that Pilar has assembled. And I met with a few of these key team members as we began navigating this transition together. Pilar and I have already been discussing the task ahead, and he's committed to staying on board with us until we are both confident that the RMA will continue its positive trajectory. So again, Pilar, gracias. Thank you very much. Your service has mattered undoubtedly, and I'm grateful to know that you're not going anywhere until we get this transition taken care of. So the admin committee will work through this transition. We've already, Pilar and I have discussed a timeline of sorts that we will at least have as a goal, and we'll take it a step at a time. So just want to say thank you, Pilar. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, and I want to thank this board and the prior boards for allowing me to serve. I don't know if I've told you the story, but how I ended up at the RMA is the authority didn't have any full-time employees. I had one full-time employee, just a secretary. They wanted a full-time executive director. Basically, City McAllen sent me over to take over the executive director's position. And this was supposed to be a 5-year stint. That was supposed to come here for 5 years. Ended up being 14. But again, thank you for allowing me to serve, and thank you to the prior boards that allowed me to serve. And I'm very grateful for that. Well,
As are we, Pilar. And, you know, day one that I started this role, I came in and met Pilar. And I mentioned a couple of things to Pilar, one of which was I don't like surprises. Not too many of us do. And
some of them may be nice.
and asked him, you know, what am I stepping into? What do I need to know? And of course, we had plenty to discuss. And we've continued to discuss all along, but one of the things that I remember so vividly that a lot of did is he gave me his business card. But interestingly, he gave me 2 business cards. So it puzzled me for a moment till I saw, I guess, what was certainly the executive director's business card, but also the fire chief of the city of Park business card. And so we talked through that a little bit, and I know that, you know, like I said a moment ago, Elad was asked, he answered the call. And so that's really your service to the community in both roles has been incredible. And I'm able to sleep at night because you continue to serve. And the first thing Elad told me was, you know, about how excited he is of the work that the team has done and where the RMA is going and whatever is needed of him until whatever time he's here. And so this transition, which we think is going to be a good thing, I'm very much looking forward to that. We'll be worked on together by the new admin committee and be like that. So again, thank you for this. All right. So that's it under chairman's report. So we'll move on to item 2, staff report.
Chairman Director's item 2A and 2B. We're going to give a report on program manager pension activities. And Ramona will give a report on construction activities.
Moving on, Tyler.
Committee Chairman, members of the board. Get set up here. So for the report of the development activities, I'm going to start with the overweight permit summary, and then I'm going to give you some updates of the outreach that set up for this month. For the month of October, from October 1st, 2025 to October 31st of 2025, we issued a total of 4,950 permits for a total amount collected of $1,011,426. From which $841,500 went to TechDOT and $133,650 went to the RMA. That's a decrease from 224 of negative 3.994. It's still a decrease, but we saw the gap closing on this month. We were around 10% every month decreasing, and we only saw a decrease from 4%. So as you can see here, the last 2 months, we've gotten pretty close to what the numbers from 2024. So we're closing that gap for the interview. This is a yearly from January 1st to February 31st of 2025. We have issued a total of 56,627 permits for a total amount collected of $11,557,810. From which $9,505,149.05 have gone to TechDOT and $1,528,929 have gone to the RMA. As we can see here, the gap is at negative 9.74. Last month, I believe we were at negative 12, so we're back below 10% difference. So what we can see here is that we're slowly closing the gap. We hope to close it a lot more as we finish the year. And this is just the accumulated from 2014, January 1st, 2014 to October 31st of 2025. We have issued a total of 445,450 permits for a total amount collected of $79,792,370, from which the RMA has received $10,420,110. So that concludes the overweight report. Development updates on the public outreach side. We had a meeting with City Commission of the City of Palmview yesterday. We talked about the RMA, we talked about the current project, we gave them updates on the construction and the next steps. Specifically section A, which is the one that is gonna not affect them, but do good things for them. It's gonna provide economic development in their area. That was yesterday. On Thursday, we have two meetings, one with McAllen EDC and the advisory board meeting where the presenters there, so we'll provide updates as well on construction and next step. And then the afternoon, later that morning, we have the Greater McAllen Association of Realtors, the Power Hour, which is gonna be from 10 to 11, and we're gonna give out the same presentation to the realtors in the area, so they're aware of our project and we're moving. And that's pretty much what I have. But
Given any questions? Ruben, I want to thank you for the public outreach. That's critically important, and I'm glad to see that you're continuing that and that you're reporting on it. It's very important for the public to know, the current status and where we're at. So thanks. Thank you. All right, as we're transitioning over to someone for staff report B. I'll let him get set up. I was supposed to say earlier when I was thanking the directors, and I'll take an opportunity to say now that as we get towards the end of the year, that's typical that terms kind of come to an end and there's opportunities to be reappointed. There's a few on here of us on here. And I want to make sure that we know that and that no one's going anywhere. But anyway, the notices have been sent out. I just thought I'd mention that. But I didn't know this would come up later in the game. I think, yeah.
Director Lomdale and Vice Chairman are both February 1st, 2026, and that Chairman, you're up to February 1st.
Yeah.
So,
There's that I mentioned.
it's staggered 3 and 4.
You're in trouble, so they get to be real.
No, they don't.
Yeah, reappoint is what we're hoping. Yes, very much so. Anyway, glad that I mentioned that. Okay, take it away.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Ramon Navarro IV, and I am the Chief Construction Engineer for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority, here to provide you with a brief overview and a quick status of the construction project with the November report. As you know, we have 2 ongoing construction projects, all affiliated with the 365 toll project, one being the toll collection system installation and integration project. This project was awarded to CSTEC Construction as the primary prime on the contract. To date, we have issued, I believe, 39. Get that. That text is extremely small there. That we've got on visual. It is on the handout. We have completed approximately 43.62% of that contract and paid out $452,767.29, holding retainage. And moving forward with that, we can anticipate a change order for the coming for the time extension. Of course, CSIP Construction cannot finish and accomplish their goals without the roadway being tidied up or finished up, and that is forthcoming. We have had initial discussions, and it would basically be the monthly administration fee that will be coming forth. We hope to have that wrapped up and brought forth to the board for the next month's meeting and consideration. They continue installing toll gantries, digital message boards, and cabinet servers, computer hardware, fiber, putting in the toll systems, etc. to be able to have these communications and all of the ultimate technology in place when the project does come to activity, which we forecasted in our revenue, which is commence in the beginning of 2027. So hopefully we'll have substantial completion by June, have the testing period 4 to 6 months, and have that ready to be implemented by 2027. No later than 2027. That concludes the report on the toll integration project. I'm moving on to the heavy highway project on the 365 toll. This project was issued to Polis Construction. And as we all know, this was issued out. Work started on March 17th of 2022. They had 1,264 calendar days to achieve this date. They have failed to meet the requirements of the contract. And we are currently in negotiations for the time impact analysis and the extension of the contract. I'll touch on this a little later in the report. To date, we've had 16 change orders, and liquidated damages are at $16,500 a day. As far as the value engineering change concepts, there's details for each of the change orders that we have implemented. And moving on to production, we continue on with the basics, which are bridge building and embankment material. Production has gone down, decreased substantially after the 1,264 days been expended. We're anticipating having this time impact analysis wrapped up and their production schedule submitted to us, loaded with resources, labor, all of the good stuff, eyeballing and detailing how they plan to capture the remaining components of this project in a timely manner and as agreed upon. Those terms, of course, the last olive branch we extended was yesterday, and it was for 275 days. We initially came to the table for 208. They were asking for 295. We split the delta and offered the 275. And I know Mr. Rodriguez had a phone call here recently, and will be probably providing insight on that at a later time.
So they were asking for 342 days.
Well, initially, yes. Moving on to project, we did have ETT, the AEP dilemma that was out at Highline, Jackson, and 23rd Street. All of those have been accomplished. They were able to set the beam girders at Highline. We anticipate they are currently setting panels, the pre-deck panels, and anticipate this slab to be poured the first week into December. And we should be moving on with paving activities thereafter. Their intent is to move in on the east side of the project at Military Highway and move east with all of the paving. That's their plan. Of course, that change with their acceleration schedule or their production schedule, I can say, on getting that wrapped up. We would anticipate they would work from both ends of the project and work towards the middle. But we will be negotiating that and discussing that as far as the project concerned with their means and methods. Going down, this month's estimate was paid out at 0.7 or 7/10, and it was paid out at $1,941,472.99, kicking up the cumulative amount to 71.63% complete. This is excluding MOH, or including MOH, and the remaining collecting or the delta on the MOH is approximately $23.2 million that remain out on the contract. In summary, liquidated damages assessed the 31 days for the month of October, the 7 days into September, accumulate approximately what was that, 38 days, and total up to the $627,000. We are 18 days into this month. The overall total liquidated damages to date are $924,000. And we are continue to implement this on a daily basis until we come to a suspension or an agreement as far as the time impact analysis. As far as major items of work, we're working on those graphs, Mr. Ochoa. These are the primary items, the main items of concern of productivity. We do have the concrete paving, the flex space, and the embankment, retaining walls, of course, the bridge structures, etc. The majority of this is the concrete paving, and the base for the paving will be the flex space. You can see that some of those vary in various deltas. They're various sections of depth. As far as a 9.5, 7 inch, 7.5, those are different thicknesses throughout the project. And the majority of that remaining is from McCall to Military Highway, which is segment 1 of the project. And that is where we do have the Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 2. And we are currently also still working out terms of production with the irrigation district. Final slide is the time impact analysis that was provided. We do anticipate receiving an updated revised one displaying more information as far as productivity and horses, crews, etc., and have a more detailed timeline on this upon submittal. This concludes my report. May I entertain questions, concerns, time?
Well, I appreciate the report. I mean, the obvious concern is that we are what we are.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate you pointing that out. You know, I'm told that going back to what you said just a little bit ago, that in my role as chair, getting up to speed and learning, and I'm told that heavy duty road construction projects like this is not unusual, that there are issues and that delays, etc. The appointment of a project status committee with a couple, 3 directors, a couple of which I alluded to earlier, be an engineer, is an effort to, lean forward and together the good work that you're doing. How can we eliminate any obstacles? How can we work together, all the parties to get to where we want to get, which is completion. So I'm anxious and anticipating, you're being able to work with the project status committee along the way. Because our reports come, once a month, just month by month. But wanted to make that comment and also open it up for questions from any of the other directors.
I had a couple of questions, Director. Yes. Number one, going back to the CSEC contract, do you have a rough order of magnitude of what the change order might look like?
The administrative monthly fee, I believe that was somewhere in the realm of 30.
It's about 38,000
$38,000 a month.
for project management, and we're going to project out to it's about 300 and 400,000.
So who is the project manager? Who is that? You're saying that for project manager, all manage.
That's their internal project management, and that is because they're delayed beyond when they were supposed to complete it because of policy. They have project management for their internal management of their project. So they're asking, which basically is an overhead cost for it. It's an overhead cost. And they're asking for more overhead because the project went beyond what they were estimating to complete.
That's because of another entity that.
This is the toll. This is the tolling agreement. It's asking for that overhead. And he's saying it's because the roadway hasn't finished, I can't finish my project.
The summer ban is still hold for both of the parking purchases, or one, does one and the other.
They're independent, I mean, Chelmsford, the CSED contract has their prime contract, and then we have the heavy highway project, which is overseen by Mullis. However, what makes it confusing is that CSED is also serving as a prime to Mullis on their own. So that's a sound I need.
To answer your question, Director, we are managing, the RMA, we manage. With the assistance of HDR and now some other entities. But
And as far as the construction and the financial, yes.
And that's what they hope to approve to this committee, right, to make sure that we're on time on most of these projects. And not, and these delays that have. Yes, sir. That committee, leaders are.
Then my hope is that we can shine a light on the issues that my understanding of y'all are, we've heard there's various issues, and rather than it be a situation of, entities pointing fingers at one another is trying to really stay focused and come together as, all of us, to try to get to the end and stay after it closer and identify those, like I said, shine the light on those issues. Where are the issues and how can we address them as timely as possible to get to the end?
I would assume there's better communication between the entities that are working on a particular project, especially when you've got two different entities working on it. They're not communicating, and one is behind. The other one certainly should be able to alert you or alert the RMA that we're at this point and they're at that point. What we're going to do is that.
That's where we're at right now.
But I think hopefully it would have been done earlier.
It was, they've communicated that we're getting behind it. So the good news is
This is an additional $400,000 cost. That what you're saying is correct. Now, where is that additional 400,000?
that's gonna come out of our fund balance.
Okay. Is this the right place? Can we assess total amount that's going to be costing us for the override?
Yes, sir, but we have not, I see where you're going with this, incorporating that fee into the delay.
And the reason for that is in order for us to make that decision, we have to know exactly what we got there, right?
Yes, sir.
So express that, please.
Okay,
Is this the right time to us?
Well, we're still negotiating that time. Yeah.
So this is not the right time.
Yes.
But I think it does bring up another question, and that is you talked about extending the olive branch 375 days. Is that
no, we,
275?
it's 275.
Does that come with money as well, or
Yes,
just no liquidated damage?
Administrative fees also.
We talk about that in executive session.
Okay.
And I think that's really important for you when you make comments like that to us, for us to understand and realize exactly your full comment on that statement. We need to know the big picture. So this is something that you need to tell us and advise us at the right time, which is acceptable. That's it, Professor.
And in addition to that, I think the subcommittee will definitely shed some light on being able to make that communication extended progress on our construction activities and our change orders, et cetera. I think it's really simple. Yes, sir.
How can you be negotiating something if in fact we don't know what the full impact is? It's pretty simple.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, but
You know what I'm going with.
Yes, sir.
You need to know whether you need 3 yards or 10 yards,
Right.
so that you can ask for exactly what the total damage is.
It's more like we know how many points we need to score to win.
Yes.
We don't know how we're gonna get to score.
So how can we get back in if we don't know exactly? So that's my question.
And that will be provided.
Thank you.
any other comments or questions at this point? Okay, again, we know where we all know where we're trying to get to, we know where we want to be. It's contracts and various entities that are having to be dealt with to help us, to be able to accomplish this are many. everyone having their own, issues and those goals, desires, et cetera. And again, our efforts here are recognizing that this is critically important, that we're at a point on a contract where it should be complete. And anything and everything we can do to try to get us there soon rather than later is the effort here. So thank you for your work on it and your continued work on this.
Yes, sir. I thank you for the comment, and I appreciate the Senate guys that you give this year. What I'm really not understanding, okay, we're in the retaining wall, you've got a 66%. Where should we be? Is 60% where we should be at? Well, sir, should be at, say, 80.
So it'll be completed actually.
So in the future, when this particular report is, we would like to see where we're at and where we've been.
Yes, sir. We're looking to improve that. However, it was a short duration between the last meeting and this meeting, and we've had some distractions, focusing on basically on the TIA. Right now.
But this major items board, this is the most important items that are still pending right now.
So
How can we help you with this? What can we do? What can we do as a board to help you facilitate this in these ways? I don't see anything with the irrigation district. Irrigation district.
a lot of this work is dependent upon our agreements with the irrigation district and releasing us and being able to authorize us to work in those areas. But a lot of that is compounded by the fact that the contractor must have the materials to be able to do the work prior to initiating it. And I think that's the point that we're at right now. Negotiating the material costs or additional costs. And that's going back to what I was saying. I think we know how many points we have to score. We have to make the touchdown. We have confidence you can do it. We just need to see which play we're going to apply to be able to score the points. And a lot of the intricacies are involved. A lot of it have to do with Polis Construction and their demands or what they're asking for. Those details will be provided
At the appropriate time and to the subcommittee of meetings, reaching our personal, position.
And to that point of, all the things that have to be worked through, the different entities. You mentioned the irrigation district, obviously, another public entity, doing what they need to be doing for their entity, as are we. And the point of the committee and the point of, trying to shine the spotlight on things is to see where the obstacles are and how can we resolve the obstacles in a faster fashion. Because we only meet once a month and the staff is doing the best they can. But I'm hopeful that this project status committee, again, with very able people on it, thank you all for your willingness to serve on it, will help us push this along. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Next item, item 3, consent agenda.
Chairman and directors, the next item is a consent agenda on matters considered in the consent agenda considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Mr. Chairman, there's no addition or deletions. I would make a motion to pass as being recommended.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. I did want to myself take an opportunity just item C to just highlight, pull that up for just a second. It's a consideration and approval of resolution in support of the South Padre Island second access project. Part of the consent agenda, we're all good with it, but I do think it merits highlighting the fact that this important project will end up connecting someday hopefully in a lot of ours lifetime, to the loop, to our Hidalgo County loop. So I, yeah. But I did just want to and that's in there, and move forward, and glad that the resolution is in there, but I did want to point that out. So I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, next item.
Yes, sir. Item 4A, resolution 2025-70, consideration of approval of supplement number 2 to work authorization number 1, the professional service agreement with V to Z Engineering for IBWC, IBWC's International Boundaries and Water Commission material testing requirements for the 365 tollway. As part of the 365 tollway, Chairman Directors, we had to relocate several of the levees for the International Boundaries and Water Commission interior floodway. And that is the floodway that provides flood relief for the Rio Grande River. A portion of that is channeled through Mexico and a portion of that is channeled through the United States. A lot of the local drainage systems drain into the floodway. In order to accommodate the alignment for the roadway, we had to relocate those levees, and we had to do quite a bit of testing on the material and the placement of the material. And so we had estimated that it was going to be initially about $2.2 million worth of testing, but we need a little bit more testing. We need another $90,826.21 worth of testing so we can finish up the testing and get IBWC to accept the levies and staff recommends approval.
Is this retesting or is this
No,
testing?
additional testing.
And this was due to the irrigation district by itself.
No, sir. So test, construction material testing, when you go to do it, you estimate, and it's based on the schedule. Usually say you test every so many cubic yards of fill material or in so many lifts of material. And so we estimated that based on the quantities, but in the field, actually, we need to do a little more testing to finish up the work and make sure that we get quality assurance on the improvements.
And who does the, I guess the evaluation at the beginning to say it was gonna take this amount, but guess what, I made a mistake, now it's $1 million.
Yeah, so the staff estimated that in-house based on the guidance that TxDOT gives you a schedule. In our specification, excuse me, back up, in our specification, we have a schedule of how the minimum we should be testing, but in some cases, we need to test more just to make sure that we're getting the quality of the material that we need. And the floodway levee is a very important structure because that's the flood protection for the road, basically from Mission all the way down to Raymondville. And so we needed to make sure, and IBWC has very stringent requirements. And so we had to do some additional testing to make sure that the work Polis was doing met the federal government standards.
And we weren't aware of those.
We were, but we want to do additional testing because the IBWC is very, very particular. And if we don't have the testing results to show them that the material and the placement of the material meets their specification, they'll reject the work. And we wanted to assure them that the work met their requirements.
I want you that hopefully to the committee, we can work those issues out where, these projections are getting a little bit closer rather than to come back and ask for more money.
It's important to point out, Director, that failed testing does go back to the contractor. We will pull back any fees due to the CMT testing, due to retesting. However, that comes at the end and their final reconciliations, et cetera, will withhold that from the retainage. But that's part of this increase will be recuperated through the test.
Yes, and the one is correct. So whenever there are failed tests on the job, the contractor is responsible for reimbursing us. So some of that may be due to failed tests that we had to retest, but I know a portion of it is because we just want to do a little more testing.
Monitoring.
Yeah, sure.
I guess my question is, we're all, I know there's several different CMT firms working on the project.
Yes, sir.
Were all the rates negotiated to one I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did. We got them all locked in within.
And so those rates haven't changed, and
They
that's
have
what's
not
being
changed.
applied to these tests.
Yes, sir. All those rates were negotiated back in 2021. So they've been, yeah, they're holding them.
They're waiting for the date.
Because of the volume of work. But the reason they're holding the pricing is because it's a big volume of work. And so they're holding their prices for 4 years, 5 years.
Do they have the right to try to renegotiate?
No, we did not allow that option on these contracts. We locked them in. They tried, but
There's no.
yeah, we're not allowing it.
And yeah, I believe it's real strict. I live right next to the levee. They don't even let me put my sprinklers on. Pain on them.
So, yeah, and we had IBWC actually come in 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, and do an audit on testing.
Staff can do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Staff recommends the
Staff
staff.
recommendation.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that carries.
Item 4B is resolution 2025-71, consideration approval of the contract amendment number 3 to the professional service agreement with B to Z Engineering to increase the maximum payable amount for supplemental work authorization 2 to work authorization number 1. I'm sorry, that's supplemental 2 to work authorization 1 for the 365 total. So this is just to the work authorization you approved for 90,000 to increase their maximum payable amount.
So 2.315?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion.
Yeah, that's good. Motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next item.
Item 4C is, resolution 2025-72, consideration and approval of work authorization number 3 to the professional service agreement with ECS Southwest LLP for forensic testing. This is to provide core samples for the cement treated base. And this is, we've had, sections that, have failed or that we have deemed failed. And we're going back to verify that they have indeed failed. And this is work that we had rejected, from the contractor's progress payments, and it's being disputed by the contractor, so we're going back and verifying that they did fail. This work authorization is in the amount of $56,205.50. Staff recommends approval.
You know, in all the testing that we've done, how much has failed on the whole project?
That's a Ramon question.
2%, 1%?
7 million out of 263 million.
It's gotta be less than
4%,
3%.
4%, that's what. Is that
Yeah.
average?
I think it's a little high.
It all depends on the project, on what it is that,
Yeah, but
the detail of it, but this roadway stuff is basic elementary work that should all be compounded and worked effectively and efficiently. They have not done that.
Is that a question we asked the contract at the beginning? What is your, or let's say, what is your work failure rate? Is that a question you would ask the contract?
we didn't ask that in this particular job, but so this is a two-step process. You have the quality control where the contractor goes in and tests his own work. And then we have the quality assurance where we go in and we verify, we test too, to see if our results line up with the contractor's results. And that's the one thing that they're disputing because they're saying it's passing, we're saying it's failing.
And who determines the final outcome and who's responsible in this, or eventually for the 56,000?
The contractor is.
Okay.
If it's deemed failed,
Yeah.
then he is responsible for that.
Including the 56.
Yes, sir.
And
You tell by whom, by us or?
So we have a third party, yeah. And ultimately, on this project, I'm the engineer that has the final say on it, whether it's we accept it or not. Yeah, the capital, we refer to, in our construction contracts, we have lowercase engineer, and that's someone, and the engineer of record, and then you have capital E, which is me, and I make the final decision on.
The biggie.
Yeah, capital E. So after and that's part of the process of vetting. To be fair to the contractor, we're rejecting the work, but we don't want to do it in error either because it's $7 million. So we're verifying that it did fail. so that we can reject it once and for all.
It's also been a standard for FHWA. They made the recommendation in TechStop for us to do an independent forensics test. So we followed through with the testing.
So when you do the contracts, is all this language in that contract? And so the engineering firms are completely aware of what could happen and what's going to happen.
It's standard language.
It's included in the front
But,
nine.
but that doesn't stop you from disputing. It's all in there, but they're disputed.
Can we tighten that?
Like, well, we're already implementing the contract now.
Mm, I mean, any future contract.
Our policy is to follow the text dot contracts fairly closely. We
Mhm.
make some adjustments, but, the most part we follow text dots because that's what the marketplace is used to operating under, and it saves us a lot of time and effort in implementing contracts. So the testing process is following text dots. What you change in sense. It's, yeah.
Can we go both sides? Right, so both sides, it doesn't make any sense to do it.
My opinion is it would be very cumbersome.
Yeah, that's just as cumbersome as doing it this way. Basically, this is just an overview, because this is a big project, we're all big boys, you understand there's going to be some negligence. And this is just basically a procedure that we're following to actually first inspect it, and then secondly, there's failure to correct it.
Yes. It would also probably pose additional costs to the project because the contractor's unfamiliarities with specifications, et cetera. That may cause them to apply additional costs for risk and may increase price.
Seems to me like we're being applied those costs anyway, at one point or another.
Upfront, yeah, pay now or pay later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but some of this, Director, we can recover on, because if it fails, then we recover it back. Especially the testing, we recover those costs back.
Yep, do I hear a motion?
So move.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Next.
Item 14, resolution 2025-73, consideration of approval of contract amendment number 2 to the professional service agreement with ECS Southwest LLP to increase the maximum payable amount for work authorization number 3. Just to increase their maximum payable amount.
The 1,113,000.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye. Opposed, same sign. Next, Pilar.
Yes, sir. And item 4E is resolution 2025-76, consideration and approval of an amendment to the interlocal agreement between the Texas Department of Transportation and the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority for the issuance of permits for the overweight and oversized vehicle corridor. So, Chairman, Directors, if you recall, about a year ago, we approved an amendment to the interlocal agreement with Texas. This is what gives us the authority to issue permits on the state highway system for overweight trucks. We amended it about a year ago to add a pilot project that TxDOT approved for off-system roadways, in other words, local roads. So they did a pilot project with the city of FAR, and they gave it 1 year, and then that pilot project expired. So the first part of this ILA takes that roadway out of the system, because it was only the 1 year, so that TxDOT could to figure out how it works, the mechanics of doing an off state highway system roadway. So that removes it from the network. The second part is that TxDOT is allowing us to increase the fee. If you recall, during the legislative session, we couldn't get our fee increased because it didn't make it through committee or never made it to committee. But we had a provision in the interlocal agreement that let us increase for CPI. And so we're going to increase, they're going to allow us to increase the permit $14 or 7%, a 7% increase, and from $200 to $214. That 7% increase will help us close the gap on that 9% delta that we have right now, and bring it down to a 2% difference in permits for issuing.
When will the 214 take effect?
I believe we have it in January 1.
January.
This one.
I think this could read a little bit better. I was reading through this a couple times and I wasn't sure exactly where it was. It says, whereas the board finds it to be in the best interest of the authority to amend the local agreement, takes fire transportation to remove the additional off-system route. I think you may add a little language here, specifically, approved on September 23rd, 2024, just to give context to that specific item. Yeah. Let's just read more clear.
We can,
So what we did for Dolphin, Canal Road, Veterans Boulevard, that will come off. That'll be taken out of the off system now?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, it's a 0.8 mile, 0.8 of a mile.
It's on the other side of the canal.
It's on the south side of the, it's actually on the south side of the river, I think it's in the
Yeah,
floodplain.
where the weight scales.
That's correct.
So was the agreement in this agreement, let me go back, was the agreement council just an off-road or a specific road?
A specific segment of
Or
local
is it
road
off-road specific to that particular road only?
only.
Okay, and that's what we're amending,
Right.
just the off-road for that particular, we don't have an off-road, another off-road, no, agreement. Okay.
Everything we have is on system.
Okay.
And that's what the statute, that's the statutory authority we have.
I have a quick question, Charlie. I know that was done for a specific project, Pilar. Is that just not happening, or are they not gonna have now an overlay corridor on this period?
So that was to, accommodate aggregate, that was gonna be imported from Mexico. And it hasn't materialized over that 12-month period. We only issued 6 permits. And my understanding that, part of the issue, I'm trying to remember what the issue was with that, but part of the issue had to be with the mode of transport, the trucks and the buggies or the trailers that they were utilizing, and there were some issues with actually the vehicle. And it wasn't the route, it was the vehicle itself.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the amendment?
I'll make a motion, to move that modification on the, to design specifically specified September 23rd, 2024. Formal resolution 2024.
Thank you. I hear a second.
Okay.
All right. I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes. Thank you. Okay, Pilar, next.
So Chairman, the only item left is item 5A, which is a tabled item. However, on this item, all we need is staff to seek direction. The board has directed us to set up interviews for the firms. And we just need to know if you want to interview all 6 firms, or do you want to interview the short list, which is the top 3. And so we can hold the board for a special meeting and then plan it.
Probably decided all 6.
There was discussion, but we never got clear direction.
I mean, I think that can go either way, Director Peña. Frankly, it comes down to a commitment on the board. If the board's the one that's gonna do it, because it's probably a what's realistic interview.
About 20 to 30 minutes each.
It'll be 30. Q&A will be at least 30.
So is this item specifically for the staff to negotiate or for the staff to bring forward either 3 or 6?
3 or 6. 3 or 6. You tabled it because you had questions about the board interviewing them. And so you directed us that you want to interview the board. Where we didn't get clear direction is whether you want to interview all 6 respondents or the top 3 when you tackle them.
Well, I understand that, but that's not what the item speaks to. Item 5 says for staff to negotiate professional service agreement.
Right, but you tabled it. And so we're not asking you to take any action. We
On
just
that one.
down that way.
So what are we doing?
We're just asking for direction on whether you want to interview all the 6 all the 6 firms that responded, or the top 3 firms.
So you're basically amending the item. We vote on the item.
Yeah, can we make that decision and it's not on the agenda?
Yes.
Well, can we discuss it in executive session?
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah, because just when you came out of the executive session, you tabled the item, but you directed us to schedule interviews. But you didn't tell us all or.
We understand that, but that's not what I advised.
Right.
There's just not a new item. It's the same tabled item, which will remain tabled until after the interview.
Yeah, it stays.
And so we're just, the question is how long do you want to interview? How many members do you interview? But we can discuss that.
Okay, I think we further discussed. Anything else?
That's it. Then I have no further business for your consideration. Recommend you entertain a motion to enter into executive session for. Motion, B, C, D, E, and F. Yeah. we have a motion. They want to
So we've got a motion and a second to enter into executive session. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That passes. So we need a motion.
Motion to reconvene.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, back to me. Back to you.
Okay, on, table item 5A, recommend the board take no action at this time, and we will be scheduling the top 3 firms to be interviewed at a special meeting for directors.
Very good. We don't need any motion for that. All right. Very good. Anything else?
No further business with board's consideration.
You want to adjourn? Okay, second. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, everybody.